Hello and welcome back to this new review by car-art.it. Between the 80s and the 90s, a time when standing out among the many cars produced in Europe meant being at the peak of motoring, BMW decided to offer something new and innovative, something that had to be superior in any possible way. To do so, they created the superlative 850 E31. Presented at the Frankfurt Car Show in 1989, BMW 850i was created to replace the outdated but still excellent 635 CSI, but also to compete against the legendary Mercedes SEC, adapting the concept of super grand touring according to the BMW principle, driving pleasure first. So not just a sport car, not a hyper-performance supercar, but a complete GT made to satisfy even the most demanding customers who expected from their car not only comfort and performance, but also a sports side, driving pleasure, and the pride of owning a technologically advanced vehicle. The answer to this request was the 8 Series which, following the BMW philosophy, had several aces to play. First of all, a unique and almost brave design. BMW has never been shy when it comes to producing cars with a non-conventional design, and the 850 is no exception, but it is necessary to consider the great impact this choice had. With the 8 Series, their flagship 7 Series was outdone. The 8 Series was made to be the spearhead of a growing car manufacturer. The 850's silhouette is perfect. The prominent front bumper, in which the front grille and the headlights are embedded, starts from a low point to leave room for the longitudinal extent of the huge bonnet, marked by the unique retractable headlights, symbol of the car production of the 80s. The rear cockpit starts from the extremely sloped windscreen, which is connected to the roof of the car and is gently closed by the wide rear window, followed by a short and elusive tail. The C-pillar is thin, and its wide lateral glass surfaces with no B-pillar facilitate the view, while the fender's bulges, placed slightly below the beltline, evoke the power and the dynamic skills of the car. The sinuous lines of the 850 are greatly enhanced by the Mauritius Blau color of this model, one of this car's classic colors, which highlights how its elegance doesn't require the use of a chrome-plated molding. Its perfect proportions manage to combine such elegance with the sports side, which is typical of the Bavarian brand. To accomplish the same goal with the interiors, the 850, despite the complete absence of wood or other materials but plastic and leather, shows a dashboard with elegant lines and door panels whose shapes and volume proportion are extremely pleasant, so that one always feels embraced by the car. The front seats are comfortable and containing, with electrical regulations and an interesting characteristic. Due to the absence of a B-pillar, the seat belts are integrated. The analogic dashboard, big and easy to read, is placed next to the air vents, which are just above the MID, the stereo and the AC. The central tunnel hosts the gear shift, the parking brake and the glove compartment, directing our gaze to the posterior part of the cabin, where a large armrest separates the two back seats, rather uncomfortable for anyone taller than 1.65 m. The spacious boot keeps defining the nature of this comfortable GT, which, thanks to its habitability and its characteristics, is the perfect car for long road trips. However, what best defines this car is the engine, a beautiful, grand and powerful engine with a 60-degree V12 short-stroke over square, with a single overhead camshaft per bank and 2 valves per cylinder. This technical choice is coherent with the non-exasperated spirit of the vehicle, which is supposed to offer great performance without lacking in reliability. The engine displacement is 5 liters, and the power and torque levels correspond to 300 horsepower at 5,200 ride per minute and 415 Nm at 4,100 ride per minute. As a consequence, the performance is better than good. It has a self-limited maximum speed of 250 km per hour, and it sprints from 0 to 100 km per hour in 7.4 seconds. 4 years after its presentation, the 850i gets updated and placed side by side with two other versions. The 850i becomes 850Ci, equipped with a 5.4-liter 360 horsepower engine with a Steptronic gear, alongside with the 840Ci with a V8 4-liter 285 horsepower engine, and the 850CSI developed by BMW Motorsport with an improved V12 engine now with 5.6-liter and 380 horsepower. With the latter, a rear-wheel steering system AHK is made available as an optional. Matching the V12 of the 850i, we can find in more than 80% of the models sold a 4-gear automatic transmission with 3 driving options, which was preferred to one of the very first 6-gear manual transmission, the same one could have found in a Chevy Corvette ZR1. The classic scheme with front engine and rear-wheel drive makes the weight distribution next to perfect, and the excellent handling is ensured by the 16-inch tires and the independent suspension with electrically regulated shock absorbers, which have 5 arms per wheel and an unusual structure according to which, during the release phase, there's a light swerve of the back wheels. With this car, however, begins an era in which mechanical engineering isn't the only factor that defines a vehicle. Electronic and technology had a strong impact on the dynamic behavior of the 850, thanks to the implementation, besides the presence of the ABS, of a ATC for the electrical control of the suspension, of a ASC plus T for the stability and traction control, and of an AHK, the 4-wheel steering system available on the 850 CSI. Moreover, the 850i implements multiplex technology to reduce the wires obstruction and offers refinements, such as the right rear-view mirror which lowers while on reverse mode, the presence of a detector test to air quality so that, when necessary, it automatically activates the air circulation mode in the cockpit, and many other interesting electrical features. Thanks to these technical characteristics and technological finesses, driving the 850i is unexpectedly satisfying. Theoretically, one might think that many filters heavily compromise the driving dynamic, but it's not true. This car is surprisingly light and nimble despite its significant weight. The GT philosophy and the time it was produced. The sports side of this big coupe is exalted by the sound of the V12 engine, which starts as deep and powerful but becomes higher and vibrating when it reaches higher revs. The only downsides of this blue Bavarian are a not very sensitive steering wheel, especially at low speed, and the brakes which, despite being powerful, are noticeably fading because of the weight of the car. After the road test, one gets out of the car knowing that the 850 is a precursor of contemporary cars, filtered by bulky technologies, weighted down by the many servo assistants but pleasant, and, most of all, easy to drive. Not a unicorn to tame, but a super GT to relaxedly drive. With the 850i began a new motoring approach, which allowed the drivers to enjoy its qualities despite its flaws. Today, however, car manufacturers have taken this approach to the extreme, applying it to the way in which vehicles are designed. There are no more strokes of genius that take the risk of offering a futuristic car such as the 850 E31. There are instead many marketing offices with analysts investigating on what customers desire and adapting to it. What has been simplifying is not the vehicle for the user but the way in which it is designed. This phenomenon, alongside an identity loss of the vehicles due to the globalization, is slowly kindling the old beloved concept of car. We hope there will be time to reverse this tendency by getting rid of the contemporary apathy due to the fact that we claim to be statistically sure of what will happen, and by going back to the old approach which was more risky but immensely satisfying. Anyway, someone who cares about motoring the way we have always known and loved its heritage, classical clubs, and especially when talking about the 850, the BMW Club E31 Italia, established in 2018 by the owners of these cars, who, thanks to their experience, their technical campuses, and an efficient information web keep alive the tradition of complicated vehicles like this one, which are still exciting and satisfying. Thanks to all of you for watching this video review. I hope you enjoyed it, and if so, I hope you will share it. Thanks to Circolo Patavino Autostoriche, which patronized this production, to Eligio Goffo and Pierangelo Scaffidi, founding members of the BMW Club E31 Italia, who kindly allowed us to drive and appreciate their wonderful BMW 850. And thanks to Alessandro Cestar for the technical service and Chiara Barbato for the translation. Thanks again and see you soon.